This is part 2 of Mom went behind my back to buy my entitled sister a house using my own money. Guys, if you want to see part 1, check it out in the description below. Let's get right to it. As I was overseas, I was only allowed to use my phone for a few minutes. I could not just call her on my own to figure out what the hell was going on. But I knew that I was not going to like the answer that I was going to get. I stopped responding to Ella and pushed the encounter to the back of my mind. That was not even the cherry on the cake, because once I got back home a few days later, it was like everything was upside down. There were problems with the retirement fund that I set up for my parents, and they were suspecting fraud because of all the funds that were missing. I still had the matter of my sister to deal with, but I had to deal with one thing at a time. I called my mom to ask her if she's given her account details to anyone because there was nothing in her account. But she was not even surprised when I told her that. She said that she was the only one who had taken out everything because I refused to take out a loan. They had no other choice. I've been contributing to that fund since I started working because I had seen how some relatives suffered without retirement funds. I wanted to be my gift to them for taking care of me and getting me to where I am. And them taking my blood, sweat, and tears and handing it over to someone who had not earned it was the most insultful thing I've ever endured. Everything came together in my mind. This was what she's been so smug for. I told my parents that they've made such a huge mistake and it would cost them comfort when they retired. My mom asked why I would say that because since I kept on refilling the fund, she would use whatever I put in it. I was too upset to even say anything, and I was scared that I would say something that I regretted to her, so I hung up on her. I told my sister not to celebrate too soon because one call to the bank telling them to investigate the funds used to buy their house would put a damper on her little celebration. I could not believe that Mom left herself so manipulated into doing something so foolish. This was a financial risk to her, and I wish that I had gone on the business trip when I did. I was done taking nonsense from her or my mother. I love them both, but the scheming has gone out of hand, and I cannot let them continue treating me like I'm a bank. The first order of business was to close the retirement fund account that I made for my parents. The process did not even take a long time and the account was dissolved. As for my sister, I considered going through legal routes, but she was pregnant, so it would be very heartless for me to go after her like that during this time. I told her that she could keep her house and I was not going to fight her anymore. I also told my mom that the account was closed because I just did not have the money to spare anymore, and the withdrawals set everything back. My mother seemed very disappointed, but she was not harsh on me when it came to that, and my father was silent in the matter as he's always been in everything. Fast forward though to a few months later when I'm barely speaking to my family. But things are not so bad either. I got a call that my sister's just given birth to her child, so I went to the hospital to see my niece. The birth of my niece brought a lot of peace between me and my sister. She was still making snide comments like her usual self, but I decided to be the bigger person. A few days later, I got an invitation to a welcoming party for the girl at the house that they bought. I'd never been there since they bought it, but Phil really wanted me to come along. I also came with a female friend of mine to the party, hoping that my sister would not mind. As soon as I got there, she pulled me aside and said that she hoped my guest had brought a present because she was not going to feed a stranger for free. I was about to take my friend and leave, but my mom gave me the side eye and I just shut up. It is like my sister does not have a nice bone in her. When people were complimenting her house, she would say that she nearly did not have a house because of jealous people while, well, I was within earshot. My mother would just sit there and let her. She also made a big deal about gifts, only thanking the people who bought big and expensive gifts for her daughter. It was a wonder that she had any friends at all. But with the amount of company that she keeps, I'm not surprised. Poor Phil just stood there in the corner, looking like he would rather be somewhere or anywhere else. Another strange thing that was how once or twice I saw dark shadows on the wall. I was also feeling itchy, but I thought it was a reaction to something. Just when I was about to leave an event that would have been otherwise uneventful, shit hit the fan. She opened a present that came with a delivery guy in the middle of the party. Everyone was curious about the gift with the mysterious sender, so we put some pressure on her to open it. I'm not gonna lie, it was a very sweet gift. There were clothes and toys that looked a bit expensive, but when she read who sent the present, her face turned thunderous, and it was like she's lost her mind. She threw the clothes in Phil's face and started screaming at him and calling him names. Now, like any other person, I was invested in the drama that was for once not involving me. She was shouting that he had betrayed her trust and did not really love their family. Had Phil cheated? Because if he had, I was going to lose all respect for him. Now, that was some drama I was invested in. But he said that he was showing love to his family by not separating his daughter from her grandma. She called him a mommy's boy and said that his entire family could go to hell. I did not know Phil's family, but I felt that she was overreacting, maybe just a bit. I could see that the clothes cost a lot, and I knew the family did not have much. So, could she not have just been grateful for once? I saw a glimpse of the note, and I could have sworn I saw the word sorry on it. They were probably trying to mend their relationship with her, even though she played the biggest part in the fight. She was making a spectacle of the whole thing, and my mom looked like she was going to die from embarrassment. I had every right to sneak out right then and there and let them deal with the mess. But my mom looked seconds away from crying, so I started telling people that the party was over and getting them to leave. The two of them were left in the middle of the room screaming at each other like crazy people. The fight had moved from his parents and now it was moving towards other things. I tried to get involved and asked them to stop fighting in front of the kids. But my sister asked me what I knew about marriage when I did not even have a family of my own. And then, a secret I've not known before was revealed by the husband. He said that she had picked an expensive house without checking anything, but now there was an infestation of pests, and they did not have any money to fumigate. That explained how itchy I've been feeling all night and why my nephew had a weird rash. I cannot say that I was surprised that once again she's messed up. She started telling him to shut up as if it was a big secret, but he told her to stop pretending as if the house was perfect. When I say my mom lost her mind, yeah, she really did. She asked my sister if she's done proper viewing of the house when she came to her months ago claiming she's checked out the property. For the first time, I got to watch my sister get scolded, and it was extremely enjoyable. All that anger and entitlement she carried around vanished into thin air, and she looked so scared of my mom. The only thing I regret is that I did not film the look on her face, which was priceless. My mom asked why she did not tell her about the issues with the pest. She said that it was going to cost a lot to pay for the pest control, and who knew where the source was. And of course, my sister was broke, so her husband was probably going to have to pay for it. If there's one thing my mom hates, it's being deceived. It seemed my sister never did a proper house viewing. She just bought the most luxurious one to make people jealous, because she's shallow like that. Now, imagine if I was going to have to pay off a loan of 15 years for a pest-infested house that was a health hazard. My mom immediately demanded that they sleep at her house because she could not let the kids stay in a house filled with pests. I felt like telling Mom, "I told you so," but I knew that would earn me a warm slap. So I just kept my comments to myself. My sister snapped for my husband to pack the clothes and get the kids so they could go to my mom's house. But Phil was pretty upset from the stuff that she said earlier to him, so he told her he was going to sleep at his own mama's house. I felt like giving him a high five for standing up against her behavior. She told him that if he wanted to lose her, he could go to his parents. He told her that he was taking their son with, and if she wanted to fight, they would call CPS to sort it out. And then they would lose both kids because of the state of the house. The guy was so pissed off, and she looked like she was going to bite his head off. But Mom told her she should help pack. So he left with his son, and my sister went to stay at my parents' house with her baby. The sad part is that if she had at least been vigilant in her house searching, instead of plotting to extort money from me, she would not have been in this position. My mom came to me to complain about her, which she's never done before, and say that she did not know how they were going to pay to get the house checked out and possibly fumigated. For once, my sister was seen as the irresponsible one, and I was seen as the one with the brains. But it was too late too little, because I was not going to give her a single cent. She'd also split from her husband, who was tired of the way she was trying to control everything. He had reconciled with his family and saw that it was not worth it to be separated from them because of her. She tried to stop him from seeing his daughter, but he threatened to take her to court and expose her for endangering his kids. All this time, she was staying at my parents' house, and they were already getting tired of her. The house was on the market, but they were having a hard time getting a buyer, because the news had spread that there were various pests all around the house. It is just sad that my mom emptied out her fund from my sister's nonsense. If she's just gone along with Phil's plan, then maybe they would have been extra careful while picking a house. In the end, they managed to sell the house, and my sister wanted to buy another small house and started sucking up to Phil. He, on the other hand, had enough of her nonsense and was considering divorce. While I feel sorry for her because, well, she had just given birth to a baby and has been going through a lot, I did not see the relationship going too far. As he has said, she makes their home a toxic environment to live in and is constantly bothering him because he can't afford the lifestyle that she wants. I wonder why she married him in the first place, because she knew damn well that he was not rich. The wonders of my sister, I cannot even figure her out, nor do I want to try. Right now, they're living together and co-parenting in the house that they managed to buy. I admit that if I wanted to be petty, I would have forced them to give me the money they got from the sale of the house since it's mine anyways. Several family members suggested that I should do that, but I see that they're not close to the situation and most of them do not care and just want to stir up drama, which is something that I refuse to do. Once again, I've let go and taken the high road, even though I was well within my rights to get revenge. This has prompted me to get some much-needed boundaries with my mom and sister, and my dad, of course, but he just follows along with whatever my mom's going on about. I have therefore relayed these things to them. Just because I have a well-paying job and do not have a wife and kids to take care of does not mean that I'm a bank, and I do not have things I want to buy with my money. I'll contribute a small amount to refill my parents' fund, but should they empty it again, they're on their own. My parents need to hold my sister accountable for her problems and stop bailing her out because she's not their only child. I need them to also have my back a lot more. Lastly, my mom needs to stop meddling in my relationships and my life. It's something that's been messing with my life for a while now, and I cannot deal with it anymore. My demands were met with mixed reactions, and my parents promised to do better, but we'll see how they'll act as time passes. My mom swears that she loves the both of us, even though it does not seem so. But she says she will stop meddling. Even though it seems like my parents have learned their lesson when it comes to her, it's my family. Anything can change. My sister said I'm making it all up by myself and just making this about me, but she was less jerky than usual. I almost felt that I made progress with her and then proceeded to make her own list of demands, which I'll not list here. It was typical of her to be so entitled and think everything is about her. She feels as if she's the one who suffered the most in the family. It honestly feels like 1 step forward and 10 steps back with her. Now, more than ever. She needs to stop thinking so much about herself and focus on her baby. By the way, Phil's talking. He cannot even tolerate her anymore, and just waiting for the baby to grow up, then he's gonna dump her. I've just accepted that I'm stuck with her, but I really hope that she changes her attitude before it costs her her marriage, or even her kids. If only we could choose our siblings. Okay, it's safe to say I'm kinda glad how this one ended. Why? I'm so happy Phil is finally seeing through the lies, deception, the red flags that his wife was giving off, aka entitled sister of OP. She was a vile, toxic human, and it looks like she tried to take advantage of anyone in her path, so I'm glad her husband's now getting some sense in his head. Drop your thoughts down below if you thought this is how this story was going to end, and give a little advice for Phil. Do you think Phil should break up with her, divorce her, and just go about his life? Let me know in the comment section. Our final story on the day, it's titled, Mother used to steal from me and say, quote, she was just admiring when caught. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and let's get right to it. Today, I unlocked an old memory from when I was between 15 and 19. Important for some context. In my country, from time to time, a new special coin is made. It has the same value as the others, and the only reason it's special is because there's something engraved in it. Can be an animal or an important person. People like to collect them just because they're pretty, and others for a formal collection. This has been going on since the 2000s. Now for my memory. My best friend's aunt worked at a bank where his coins were ordered, and because that she had the same coins but laminated. She gave us one each time a new came out, so I had a pretty big collection of those. You could get an album to store them, but I wasn't into it that much, so I just had them stored dreaming of a time where they would be worth a lot. Currently at the time, they were worth 40x. Well, that was the time I used to live with my parents. I don't have a great history with them, but they gave me a free roof and food until I moved. Free in monetary terms, they were still a-holes. I remember I traveled for a month and came back to my room, evidently fully searched. I used to smoke a lot of weed, so I figured she was looking for that. I didn't care as I didn't cover it. Most of my family's side are potheads, but she doesn't know. Weeks later, I was searching for something in her room. You know, like a normal human being, without destroying and leaving everything in shambles. Then, I stumbled upon some laminated coins. Went back to my room and searched, and mine were gone. I had like 20 or more, and I only found 4 or 5 I get drawered. When confronted, she said she was only looking at them and wanted my father to see them. I know it was BS, but what else can I do? I took what was left and hid them. What did she do with the rest? I'll never know. Don't know if she sold them or used them as gifts. Maybe she opened them and felt dumb. I just know that years later, living on my own, having my own free life, I noticed I did not have the other 4 coins. My mother stole them again. Okay guys, first of all, this was a very bad situation, totally toxic for the mom to steal like that. But there was a comment that really got to me. It was a similar situation posted by someone in the comment section. It brought Pokemon cards into this battle. Listen to this. I have a sister that will do something like this. I collect Pokemon cards, and she'll take them and break them and destroy them, and then say my other sister did it. That one hurts my soul, guys. Imagine ripping up a Pokemon card that was from 1999. I would be furious. Drop your thoughts down below of this story. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. And just remember, if I can get across any message, just know, it's cool to be kind.